Welcome, everyone. We are here with a special guest who needs no introduction, Larry Herb, Major Nelson. Larry, how are you doing today?
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. It's nice to see you, David, Gordon, Mark. It's nice to see you guys, and thank you for having me on your show. I'm really excited to be here. Normally I have people on my podcast, but hey, I get to sit back and you do all the work.
I know. And we're real nervous, too, because you're like one of our heroes, so it's real exciting.
Well, you guys are real kind, and I love talking to the community, and when the opportunity came to talk to you guys, I said, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, great. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. Let's get right into it, and let's talk about E3. That's the big news. We were all super excited watching E3. We thought
Did you guys go?
We didn't go. We didn't get to go, but we watched it. Yeah. We watched you. So
yeah, I got to watch it in like my sweats, so I was comfortable. So it was
I wish I could have done that. It was that. I mean, E3. I love E3 every year, but working it is exhausting because we're a lot of people are getting up at 5 a.m. every day and going to bed at midnight. It's exhausting. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but those are some long days.
Yeah, I can imagine. So for you, what was the biggest moment at E3?
Well, there's a couple of them. I mean, I had known, I had sat through the rehearsals for months and when we were piecing the show together. So I had known the two moments, of course, backwards compatibility, which I had been working with the team on. I've been aware of that for months. And the Hololens demo. So those are two moments where I said, okay, this is going to take the breath away of some people. So, I mean, certainly all the great announcements, Halo and Gears of War and all that great stuff, and Tomb Raider, and, of course, Fallout. It was great to see that. But the moments for me were back compat because we were like, is it going to leak? Is it going to leak? Because, the games industry is full of leaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was exciting. I walked out, I was backstage in a little room where I was keeping an eye on what was going on online, and I had a little monitor where I could see what was going on stage. So I walked out into the auditorium because I wanted to feel it when Back and Pat happened, and that was a great moment. And then I did the same thing when the HoloLens moment happened later on. It was really just awesome. But the whole all 90 minutes were just great. But those were two of just many of the highlights for me.
Awesome. Yeah, I think backwards compatibility. I mean, it blew us away.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that. I wasn't, and my jaw dropped. So it was like, oh my gosh, this is good. That was awesome.
When I was sitting in a meeting, I can't say when it was, but it was earlier this year. I was like, wait a minute, what? and then I find out the guy who was working on it, Bill Stillwell, who, if you look in I did an interview with him that we aired. I went down to Bill's office and I hung out there for a while, and he was walking me through some of the engineering of what happened and how it worked, and I was like completely nerding out because I love what I do, but I love when I get to go talk to our engineers who are incredibly smart, the whole team, the engineers and project managers, and they're kind of walking me through it, and I get giggly because it's so cool.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, speaking of that, you said that's one of the things you enjoy about your job. I have always wondered. Just a simple question. What is the best part about being Major Nelson? You know what I mean?
There's a lot of elements that are the best part. I mean, one is being able to represent the great work that our teams do. Like, everyone looks at me and thanks me for that. But I'm like, guys and girls, listen, there are so many people behind me that are doing the hard work that are way smarter than me. So I am blessed that I get to talk about our great products and represent the awesome work that they do. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is just the excitement of talking to people like yourself who are real fans of what we do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a fan, and I am a fan of gaming, and I've been gaming for longer than most people have been alive in terms of listening to the podcast and whatnot. So it's really just being able to work and touch different parts of the business, whether it's like doing a podcast like this, or going in to sit in a meeting for 2 hours to talk about, hey, we're going to be at Gamescom, here's what we're going to do, or let's talk about the Fan Fest, we want to invite 500 fans, so let's do X, Y, or Z, or I get to go, oh, hey, this is the new controller, let me play with that. I mean, every day is like Christmas.
Awesome.
Well, I'm jealous because at my work, not every day is Christmas. That's for sure. We get this question all the time, and we've discussed it on our show quite a bit of what the best way to manage gaming time is with other responsibility, with your family, friends, and you're probably you're probably much busier than we are. So how do you manage your gaming time?
That's an excellent question, and there's really no right answer. The answer actually doesn't lie with you in terms of an individual. It lies with the people around you. in terms of I have an incredibly awesome wife who understands what I do. And I'm like, hey, I need to go play Batman for a couple hours because I really want to understand. Okay. And she, she'll go and, granted, she's going to Nordstrom or something, but she has her own job and she has her own career, and so she's really understanding. So I have, I have the ability of having a really supportive family, and they understand that. But it's also important to know, hey, I'm not gonna game tonight. I'm gonna take the night off and go spend some time with my wife. So it's really about the right balance, and it's having the right person and the right support structure in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great answer. It's about the people around you.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. Do we want to do
Yeah,
a...
so we actually had a couple of our listeners email us with a couple questions that they wanted.
Oh, great! Yeah, I love this.
So the first one, it's actually about HoloLens. It's from Podrick Moran. He wants to know, HoloLens has many possibilities lying ahead. Aside from Minecraft, can you share any details about any other projects that might be coming to HoloLens?
Well, you saw some of them. You saw one of them at E3, which was the you didn't. You guys have probably read about it. Was we used HoloLens for kind of the intro to Halo.
Yeah, that looked
where
awesome,
you would stand in the room, and I did that demo. I actually never did the final version. I did an early version of it, but it was really incredible. Phil and Satya and the rest of the team and Kudo, they're really interested in HoloLens and how it can enhance and extend the gaming experience. So we're going to go real slowly into this area. We're not just going to say, hey, we need to make Viva Pinata in HoloLens. We're not going to do that. We've got to find the right moments and the right gaming elements like a Minecraft that really go, oh, this is something that's really new. It's not just gimmicky.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as Oculus Rift, I know when Oculus Rift was announced, you could play an Xbox game in it, and it was like you're in a movie theater, which I personally think is cool. Have you had a chance to try that out?
I've tried out an early version of that, absolutely, and it's pretty much exactly as you describe. I mean, it's essentially leveraging the power of Windows 10. Are you guys running the Windows 10 preview at all?
Not yet. We're waiting for it to release. So.
Yeah.
I have one computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You don't want to put that on your.
Yeah,
you don't want to wait. You want to wait until it's finally released. Yeah. But it's leveraging the Windows 10 game streaming, from Xbox One, which, if you've used it or if you've heard about it, generally it works really, really well. It's surprising people. So that's, so it's, using the Oculus is just a perfect extension of that technology.
Awesome. So when you're playing it, and you said you played an early version, so I don't know if it would be the same, but does it feel like you're playing on like a big screen, really nice TV, or what's that experience like?
It's all up in your face. Figuratively and literally.
It's right there.
It feels like you're playing on a big screen, yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I have a quick question. Speaking of, you're gonna be taking your time with the HoloLens, and this can be related. What genre of video games do you feel like you want to see more of on the Xbox actually than currently? Yeah, does that make sense? Did that make sense?
Yeah. So not HoloLens, Xbox One.
Okay. Yes. Xbox One.
Just want to make sure I understand the question. I love seeing, and I don't know if we even can call this a genre, but it's those Splinter Cell moments, and I'm sure you guys had them where you're with a buddy and it's 2v2. It's a tight like Spy versus Mercs.
Yeah.
I really enjoy a co-op experience, whether it's co-op and me and a buddy against the AI, or it's co-op me and a buddy against, 2 other people or 3 other people, whatever. I love a good, tight co-op experience. And there's certain games that really lend themselves to co-op experience. We saw a lot of that with like a Borderlands where it was 4 people, which was great.
Yeah.
So I love, so again, I guess the answer is co-op, but I don't even know if that's a genre. I mean, it's not really, but it's kind of a feature within a genre.
No, we actually, on our show, we do what's called a couch co-op or a couch cast. We call it a couch cast. Yeah. And I love that. That's a great answer because I growing up and playing those games with your friends, your buddies, you're on the couch, that's a great answer. I'm happy with that answer. So
yeah, it's really important because right now you guys are really blessed because you are your friends and brothers and relatives. You all live within a close proximity, so you can go over to the couch. But I live in Seattle now, and all of my best friends are in Connecticut. That's where I grew up. Yeah. So I can do co-op with them as if they're 5 feet away in terms of, the voice quality, and we're playing together. And so, and that's, we're seeing that more and more where people are moving around the country or around the world, but they're using Xbox Live to still keep that game time together as if they're on the couch together.
Yeah. Awesome. Which we can thank Xbox Live. I love the fact that you can do that too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I've been working on the service since 2003, and that was something that was a key tenet of what we were building back then. Is how do we bring that couch co-op element to, globally, make it globally.
Yeah. Cool.
World's largest couch.
Awesome. That's a good T-shirt right there. World's largest couch, Xbox Live.
Well, we have another question from one of our listeners. His name is Chad Ridgway. He wants to know, how do you explain to friends and family what you do for a living, or do you just tell them that you're a video game celebrity?
What's interesting is I have 2 sisters. Mm-hmm. An older sister and a younger sister, and they each have small girls. So as far as they know, I work at Xbox, and they don't, they game a little bit. They play Minecraft, and they understand a little bit of what I do. But because they're not really into gaming. I mean, I'm sure if they were into gaming, they'd have the coolest uncle ever. I just tell them, hey, this is what I do. I've gone to PAX East. I go to PAXs like PAX East or PAX Prime. And I bring my sister with me in PAX East because she lives outside of Boston, and it kind of blows her away. She's like, wait a minute, who are these people? Why are there 500 people here to talk to you? I don't understand it or listen to you. So I just, they know what I do in gaming, and they I get those interesting texts from my mom every now and then when she sees, I saw Xbox One on the news. Funny story is, I haven't told this story yet, is she we saw these live. I was doing these live shows from E3. I don't know if you remember those. Where I did an hour a day.
Yes.
So I was doing those shows, and the first show we had on there, we were doing a segment on Rare Replay, and the Rare guys brought out these boxes of these Battletoads foam fingers. Do you remember those? I don't know if you saw. They were in the crowd behind us.
Yeah, on the Daily Show, right?
Right, the Daily Show, exactly. Yeah. And I'll never forget this because my phone, because I couldn't have my phone on me, it was kind of tucked behind me. I was sitting on my phone because it was behind the chair. And it starts buzzing like mad. And I couldn't answer it. And I'm like, what's going on here? So again, we're in a break, and I pick it up, and it's my mother. And she's like, I want one of those foam fingers. And she texted me again 10 minutes later. Did you get me a foam finger? After that night, she's like, hey, did you get my text on the foam finger? Yeah, Mom, I got your text. Why do you want these cheesy foam fingers? Why do you want one, Mom? Why? And it was, so they watch what I do. They understand a little bit of it. But they know that gaming is huge, and it's bigger in some regards than a lot of parts of Hollywood. Yeah. It's one of the most successful entertainment things to come along in a long, long time. So they understand a little bit of it, but I don't think they really fully grok it.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, we have one more question before we let you go.
Actually, good news. One of my meetings just got moved, so I've got a few extra minutes for you guys.
Oh, awesome! Then we have several more questions for you.
Well, let me ask this anyways. So I saw on Twitter a lot of PC gamers were tweeting you and saying, hey, we want the Halo Master Chief collection to come to the PC, and you responded with message received. Does that mean Halo Master Chief collection is coming to the PC, or where are we with that?
That just means I took the tweet and forwarded it over to 343 Industries.
Oh, cool. So it literally was received.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it means exactly what I typed. They are responsible for the Halo franchise. I have nothing to do with that. I'm a Halo fan just like everybody else. I just happen to be in the power to have a direct connection to Bonnie Ross and the rest of the team over there. So I'm like, okay, here's an interesting one. Send it over there.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome. Really cool. So you mentioned that gaming is bigger than Hollywood, and I think gaming is the ultimate form of entertainment. It immerses you. With it becoming so big, I'm sure there's a lot of celebrities that are into gaming. Who's the most interesting celebrity that you've met?
Or even gamed with? Have you gamed with many? Or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's boy, that's a great question. Probably the. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's a few people that game. I mean, there's certainly Will Wheaton, who is great. He is. I mean, he's a. I grew up watching him on Star Trek. So all of a sudden you're like, holy crap! Now I get to talk to him. But one of the guys that I love the most, who's a huge gamer, is Zach Levy from Chuck.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I ran into Zach. You know, I every time I see him, he's like, Major Nelson, what's up? And I've talked to him all the time, and he's a real hardcore gamer. He's really nice. I ran into him at E3.
Oh.
And he instantly gave me a hug, and we're like, what's going on? And he's got all his people around him. And it was just fascinating to me because I'm like, wait a minute, this is a guy that has, you know, he's been on TV, had his own series, he's been on the Golden Globes, he performed a musical piece on the Academy Awards, and he's still into gaming, and he still talks to me, and he recognizes me, and we have these great conversations. So I think Zach is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Cool.
What I've noticed is over the years, is to your point earlier, is more and more stars, more and more like high-profile celebrities are into gaming. I know that Jimmy Kimmel, those guys over there, the Jimmy Fallon, he's into gaming. We're always talking about gaming with his producers and directors, and they love gaming. So it's really the question is, who isn't into gaming right now? Because every time I talk to folks that work in the industry, I mean, when you're doing a movie or a TV show or anything in the entertainment, there's a lot of waiting around. So these guys and girls, they play games.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
So that was what's interesting is they really, a lot of them play a lot of them play video games in their trailers or whatnot. Like I remember I was doing an event. Where was I? I was at an E3 event, and I was doing this red carpet event, and down the carpet came a bunch of the guys from Mad Men, and they're like, "Hey, Major Nelson, we watch your videos all the time." I mean, here's John Hamm, who plays, Don Draper on Mad Men, who did, and I'm like, it was very surreal, very surreal.
That
So
would be cool.
it's really every day that goes by, I meet more and more stars that are into gaming.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
Cool.
cool.
Really
That's
cool. Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, you've been talking about a lot of the great things about gaming, and I really appreciate that. I think that's an awesome story. But I have a question that I always like to ask people because a lot of the time things aren't as glamorous. You know what I mean? So the question is, what's the biggest challenge you face in your work? If that makes sense. You've mentioned all these fun stuff, which
Sure.
you have the dream job, I think. So
Yeah.
that's, and that. But what are some of the challenges you face, and how do you approach them, and how do you tackle those kinds of challenges?
There's a couple of challenges. One of them is, the vitriol on the internet is, the people that are attacking me on Twitter.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Hey guys, this is just gaming. Small children aren't dying here. Okay,
Yeah.
This is a form of entertainment. Let's have an open, honest, respectful discussion. That's great that you game on PlayStation. Good for you. That's great that you play on Nintendo. Good for you. I've got an Xbox over here. We've got games. Every single console has games. And then people are like, well, I like to game on PC. You know what? That's great for you. Microsoft makes Windows, which is another one of our gaming platforms.
Yeah.
So it really, that's one of the challenges is having this conversation, whether it's Twitter. It's so easy to go online and just rant. People like to shoot first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see people all the time that, hey, I don't know how to do this. Did you search? Why are you posting on Reddit? This will take 5 minutes to search and figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's about this shoot first, ask questions later mentality. Whether it's asking questions or just coming to a quick conclusion, that's something that is a larger conversation because we don't know. On the internet, you don't know if someone's 13 years old or 65 years old, and usually you can't tell.
Yeah.
So it's I have to kind of scale up and down the conversation across multi generations. So that's one of the challenges. The other challenge is, and this is a problem because I love my job, is like when do you stop? Like right now, I don't think about going to work every day. I just wake up and go, I'm going to have a great day today. Let's work on some cool stuff.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I am blessed with having an awesome job where I'm like, oh God, I gotta go to work. I don't really have those days.
Yeah.
I don't think I've also been really blessed in that I have had many jobs. I've worked jobs that I didn't like, but later on in my professional life, I've been blessed with the fact that I never felt like I was working. Before I worked at Microsoft, I worked in radio, and I loved working in radio. I had a great time, but I stopped doing it when it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
I like to have fun in what I do, and just, oh, by the way, I'm working and get paid for it. So that's something that I've kind of made a life choice to do. So those are some of the challenges, is just finding enough time and knowing when to step away and just to have kind of offline non-gaming time.
Yeah, and that's actually inspirational to hear, because I know that people have told me past are the days when you can have fun at your job, with the way things are, and that's pretty.
No, that's absolutely wrong. You have to, if you're not having fun at your job, then you're doing something wrong, or at least have those moments where you can have fun. Look, life is short. Whatever you're going to do it the best you can do. If you're gonna, well, except for handing out speeding tickets, don't do that the best you can. Whatever you're going to do, if you're in a sales job or a customer service job, I've always tried to do the best I can do, and that's something that I appreciate when people are doing the same thing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
very cool answer. Thank you.
Jordan, I think we have one more question that was submitted.
Yeah, we do.
I'm going to stay here until we run out of the questions.
Are you serious? Okay, fair enough.
Okay, this one.
best I can.
This one's from Aaron Scott. He just has a quick question about PAX Prime this year. He wants to know. He says it's okay if you can't, but is there anything you can talk about, or is there anything that the Xbox team might be working on for PAX Prime?
I am happy to announce that we will be at PAX Prime.
Awesome.
All right,
All right.
cool. That's
all
a
I
great
can
answer.
But you have to remember, we're in the middle. I tweeted this out, I think, or I talked about this. We're in the middle of. We just came off of E3. We've got Comic-Con next week. We've got China Joy coming up. We have Gamescom. We have PAX. PAX Prime is like so far down the line for us because we have so many elements and things to do. Oh, by the way, and I'm helping out with the Windows 10 launch, which is at the end of July. Yeah. So it's like I can't even think about that right now. But I know we'll be there. But that's pretty much all I can say right now.
That's pretty much the extent of it. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite game of all time?
Boom.
There you go.
That's such a hard question. I'm going to just start filling up airtime just so you can think about it for a little bit.
Or let's say top 3, top 5.
I get asked this question frequently, and it changes. I mean, my favorite game is always the one I'm playing right now.
Oh.
It's one of those things because it's you're into the game. Like right now, I'm playing Batman.
Oh, Bruce.
Right?
Brucey. Love
And
that
so
guy.
I'm playing Batman, and then I'm like, every time I fire up my Xbox, the bottom where you've got the big section where your game is, like when you're sitting at the dashboard where the game is called the bat, the big something tile, we call it the bat. I like to figure out what the A is. And then we've got the little ones beneath it, which are like the most recently used list. So I've got Batman in the bat, no pun intended. And then I've got The Witcher staring at me below, and I'm like, I got to get back to The Witcher because it's level 15, and I really want to finish that. But I've got Batman, and I've got a Batmobile, but I got to get back to Roach. So anyway, it's one of those things. But probably definitely one of my favorite games over the past 10 years, without a doubt, is Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, yes.
That's your favorite game.
That is my
favorite
favorite game of all time.
So I actually, and I want to talk a little bit about that because, and I'll talk about some other ones in a minute. I just finished writing the intro to a book that's gonna be published in September. And in that intro, I talk quite a bit about Red Dead and how it was very emotional for me for some reason. Rockstar tapped into something. Now, did you guys finish the game?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So if you're watching and listening, and this may be a little bit of a spoiler, so fast forward 30 seconds.
Okay.
That moment when you have that final battle up in the mountains, and the sun's coming up, and you're going home. And I'm even welling up right now. Think about it, because it's emotional because the sun is coming up, the music is happening just perfectly, and you're like, I'm going home. This is over, right?
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. And then, of course, it continues a little bit afterwards. But for some reason, that moment was just so overwhelming for me. It was perfect, absolutely. I put the controller down and just kind of soaked it in and enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's excellent.
So, but there's to answer the question a little bit further. One of my other favorite games of all times is a game called Star Raiders. Star Raiders is a game that I used to play on the Atari 800. And when I was in high school, we had Atari 800s, and I had kind of became friends with the head of the math department. And I said, look, if you come into work early a couple days a week, I'll buy you coffee, and if you can let me into the math lab, I'm going to play Star Raiders. Bring him a coffee or something, and he would let me in. And he'd sit there and do his work, but I was playing Star because I couldn't afford a computer back then. or we didn't have them because it was back in the day. So Star Raiders had something mental for me. It was like the moment where I was so into it that I had to change my life. I really had to do something completely different. I got up and went to school early. Who the hell does that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
Do we have any more?
No, that was all the fan questions.
Out of questions, the chamber's empty.
No, I got some more, but they're not as good. So on that same note, we already just talked about your favorite video game.
Yeah.
We get asked this a lot, and I'm curious on what you think. What if you could be any video game character? Who would you be?
Well, I mean, obviously the natural goes to Master Chief.
Yeah, because he's a bad A.
That was mine.
As I said earlier, my favorite video games when I'm playing. I mean, Batman.
No kidding.
And I was playing it last night. And I'm like, why do I like Batman so much? And I realized he's kind of got I love gadgets and technology, and he's got that, and I don't know. So probably a combination of Batman or Master Chief.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Any one of those people that was like the intro of E3 this year.
Yeah,
just
what
all
was
of
it?
them.
Marcus
Those
Phoenix.
heroes, yeah.
Marcus Phoenix. Like
Lara Croft.
We were sitting there when we were watching that. I was like, I would do anything for any one of those guys up there. It was awesome.
Exactly. So probably one of those two, to be honest with you.
Cool.
So, Major Nelson, besides playing games, what do you do to relax?
I enjoy a couple things. I'm constantly redoing my home with home automation. So I've got a lot of technology in my house right now. So I've been playing around with that. I actually go out and I do about between 3 and 5 mile run every day, which is when I listen to audiobooks. So that's really, I'm listening to this book right now, which is about the music industry, and I used to work in the music industry. So it's such a good book that I was like, last night I went out for a run, and I usually do it like a 3 to 5 miles, and I went like an extra mile or something because the book was so good. I just kept going.
Wow.
So I like to do that. I mean, keeping yourself in shape and having a nice balance of mind and body is really critical. Like we talked about, balancing video game time. One of those is really making sure you can get outside and exercise and work out. I'm a big proponent of that. So really, those are kind of the peripheral things that I do. I'm also I love scuba diving.
Oh, cool!
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw you tweet that out a little while ago on Twitter.
Yeah, I was down. I had to go to. I was down in Florida, and I went to Disney World, and I went scuba diving in the tank at Epcot, which is one of my favorite. It's a public program. Anybody can do it as long as you're certified. So that's one of my favorite dives to do. So I love doing things like that. And so those are some of the headlines.
All right.
Really
That's
cool.
really cool.
So if you weren't Major Nelson,
Yes.
what would you be doing right now if you could choose? I mean, outside of being the awesomest, the coolest job, but what would you be doing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that is that is a great question that I struggle with all the time because here's why I struggle with that. Many years ago, I had the opportunity to interview and chat with Bill Gates. And Bill is an amazing individual. Right now he's doing incredible philanthropic work. But when I was talking to him and doing the interview, after the interview I shut off and we're chatting, or before, maybe it was before, he's like, so what do you do? I said, well, I work on the Xbox team, and I explained to him, he's like, that's really cool. And when you get told by the richest man in the world that you have a cool job,
Yeah,
that
wow.
kind of says something, right? Yeah, exactly. So really makes your head explode. So I look around. I mean, I would love to, I love what I do. But if I could do anything in the world, and this probably builds off of what I just talked about doing with scuba diving, I'd love to work with dolphins.
Oh, really cool.
Because I find them they're incredibly smart, and I just would love to sit in the water and play all day with the dolphins, right? Because I just having this amphibious having this mammal in the water that's incredibly smart, who kind of looks at you, and when you look at them, they're like, yeah, I'm smart. What up? Out there, I'm down here having fun. So I don't know. I'd love to work with dolphins or animals. My sister's a veterinarian, so that's probably where I get my love for animals from that.
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. I got to swim with dolphins one time in Hawaii, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like overwhelming because there's such majestic and amazing creatures.
Yeah, they really are. So one time,
Any critters in the water are, whether you're the whales. I love whales. I mean, I love pretty much. I gravitate towards a lot of water-based, ocean-based animals. But then again, I'm fascinated by birds. So I'll like stand out in my backyard and stare at the bird for 10 minutes.
That's exactly what my wife does. So that's awesome.
or your cat, for that matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. So cool.
well, I think you have answered all of our questions.
We're out. We're done.
We are done. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your
Wait a minute.
day.
Can I ask you some questions?
Oh,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, so we talked about E3. I want to talk to you about what moment for each one of you was a great moment during our E3, and what are you looking forward to in Xbox gaming this year?
For me, hands down, the Elite controller. I was blown away by it. I'm super excited to get my hands on
I'm
it.
actually holding it right now.
Oh, you would say that. You would.
No, super excited to get that in my hands. It looks so good. I love the additional buttons on the back, the customization of it. It blows me away. That's what I'm most excited for sure.
Great.
Yeah. Me, there's too much good stuff. The controller I was excited for, backwards compatibility. I think the biggest thing is I'm a really big Halo fan. I've read all the books, I have all the games, and I'm really excited for the new Halo game, especially with Blue Team coming back. Having Fred, Linda, and Kelly back. It gets me really excited. And then having Nathan Fillion
that
back in the game.
Warzone stuff is unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
that looks
and
so fun.
The more and more I learn about Warzone, the more and more I get excited. I mean, it's such a cool mode having the PvP and then having like certain bosses come out during that PvP and having everybody gravitate towards that kind of three-way battle, if you will. It's just I'm super pumped for Halo. And then the collector's edition coming with that statue.
You're pumped.
I'm freaking out. So, yeah,
You're all in.
Yeah. For me, like I said earlier on the show, it was the backwards compatibility. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I like to learn about how things work. And that one, I couldn't wrap around how they were able to do that. You know what I mean? And it's an emulator, kind of thing. But the languages of the programming, my jaw dropped. So the backwards compatibility, that was the big one for me too. So
Well, yeah, it does, and don't think too hard about it because it'll make your head hurt. Because they explained it to me how it works, and I'm like, what?
yeah, amazing.
Go back to the beginning. I do what? So yeah, that is it was a huge technical hurdle and a challenge, and like I say, I am blessed with there's incredibly smart and gifted developers at Xbox that are just constantly building and doing cool stuff. So I'm glad you had the same reaction I did.
Yeah, because like the amount of knowledge or programming, the talent that is required to do something like that blows my mind. Like that's. I don't know if miracle is the word, but
it's definitely impressive.
I'll tell you this: along those same lines, we were talking about Hololens and that demo on the that we did at E3. When I walked into the auditorium, and I was kind of in the back, kind of over in the corner. Anyway, when they started showing that, and when it appears on the table and everything starts rising up from the table. There was somebody, I don't know who it was, but they stood up and yelled, "Witchcraft! Burn him!" Because they just couldn't get their head around what was happening here. Yeah. It was so mind-blowing. So and that's kind of the same way I feel about Back and Pat sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the where we are in gaming is, because I grew up in the 80s, I had, my first gaming system was the Atari 2600, and just seeing where we are today, and I cannot help but feel blessed.
What was awesome about that one?
The Atari.
The Atari.
Yeah, what's that?
There's not enough stuff these days that's wood grained.
Right? No kidding.
Right?
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Just like I'm sitting here playing Witcher 3. You mentioned Roach. I love that horse, but just the graphics, and the game is so good. I usually have a hard time going through side quests, kind of a thing, and those side quests are just as good as the main quest, and
absolutely
overwhelmed how amazing games are today.
How immersive they've become.
We are. I mean, the younger generation, I hate it. The younger generation in gaming, it's just where we are today, I cannot feel but blessed.
Well, you also have to, to your point, we all grew up back in the day. We're a little bit older than some of the younger gamers, obviously. But, I mean, do you remember playing Zork?
Yeah.
Now, Zork, for those of you that don't know,
the typing one.
you guys know, you booted up Zork, and you're staring at a black screen with a blinking cursor. You don't know where you are. You don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays, if that happened, people just go to the internet and they'd make a wiki and here's the walkthrough. But we had to figure it out back in those days, right? We're like, well, what am I doing? North? Oh, I can go north. Oh, that means I can go south. Wait a minute, I can go west. What's this? Why is there a mailbox here? I got to open them. You had to learn everything, and there was no hand holding. Today, it's the imagination has moved from your head, which you were trying to figure out the Zork and figure out this mythical land in your head. But now it's now up on the screen in full HD, in better than I ever imagined in some regards, right?
Yeah. So we're in a good place, I think, in gaming. So, anyways,
we certainly are.
Yeah.
We certainly. Well, I'm glad. I really want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I'm glad you guys enjoyed our E3. We're really happy with how things are going at Xbox right now. I love seeing that stack of console boxes behind you, by the way.
Thank you. We're proud of that.
That's a heck of a tower there, and I want to see a Halo one on there later this year. If that's what you don't have the Master Chief Collection one up there.
No, our younger brother has that one.
Yeah,
in
our
his
younger
house.
brother has it.
We gotta
but
steal that
we
box
get to
from him.
steal
We
it
should
from
take
him.
it
We
from
just
him,
gotta steal it.
Anyway.
No. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway,
it's not every day that we can talk to our heroes and interview them. So we really want to thank you so much for hopping on the show. We know you're incredibly busy, but this has been very fun, and you are a very cool guy. So we
thank you. Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for all the great work you do in the community. I know that people at Xbox are big fans of your show. Thank you, and thank all your listeners for all the continued support of Xbox, and it's for over the past years, and we've got some really cool stuff planned in the future. So I think you guys will really enjoy it. But thank you for having me on.